Welcome to another Season 9 competitive win guide. This guide is on how to win on Rialto competitive. Now at the start of the game, before you decide to overextend past this position, you want to see what the enemy DPSs have chosen. This is done by hearing a team call out or checking the scoreboard 10 seconds into the game. So our tank pings the sniper for an in-game audio call out. Knowing this, you never want to over position past the area we're currently in, as you'll open yourself to more shooting angles from the enemy sniper. On top of this, we can already see an enemy that we're able to shoot, so we're able to do damage anyway. Now, one thing to note, as a DPS, you have certain windows versus certain champions, and you need to know these things. Now, usually you don't want to challenge the Widow, but because she's grappled in and is flying, it's a hard shot for her to hit. As soon as she lands, we drop back to cover, and what you want to do is use this wall to the right of us to block her angle on you. Here, once again, we have a small window to do damage to the Widow, as our Ana gets a peek at her and the Widow is distracted by our ally. Unfortunately, the bubble shield is in the way. Since the Widow has been revealed, we have another window to damage her, as we have a slight peeking advantage, knowing exactly when she'll peek. Unfortunately, our tank dies while the enemy tank is still alive. When this happens, you want to instantly fall back as a DPS. Once again, one of your jobs as a DPS is to do the most damage as possible. Now, doing this damage while falling back also allows us to get a pick on the Lucio, and instantly after the pick we fall back further, as it is only us alive with a support versus a Winston tank and 3 other enemies. Winston dives in since he is overextended from his team, and thanks to our further back repositioning. Now, as a DPS, as soon as you realize the enemy tank is at a critical HP, you want to try push up and finalize the kill, especially when his team is not around him. Now, one tip to quickly mention on Ashe is most of your damage comes from ADS shooting and dynamites. So you want to shoot in a pattern of 2 free aim shots and 1 ADS shot when the enemy is super close, like this Winston was just a few moments ago. After this, we're able to play more aggressive, as our team should be arriving any second now and they have no tank. Here we're in the same situation as earlier. You don't want to over position past this area, so we look to take high ground. Winston dives us, and again it's an easy fallback for us while doing damage to him. Now, the damage done while falling back is what helped allow the team to get the elimination on him. Now, another tip as a DPS is if you see your backline getting dived, it's your responsibility to help your backline and prevent the enemy from getting a pick. Here the Genji is past our tank trying to get a pick on our backline, and so we use the coach gun ability to push him away. Once again, standard DPS things like focusing supports first, especially overextended supports. As a DPS, you also want to know when you can push forward. We can push forward here as the Genji has fallen back, Mercy is dead, and their tank is still on the way. As always, high ground is super important on DPS, and always go for it when it's available or when you have the time to. Go for high ground, and you pretty much want to repeat all the tips mentioned from the start of this video. Falling back when you're challenged and pushed up, repositioning even further back when enemies are nearby and no ally supports around you. Now, for your ultimate, you want to use it when the payload is close to reaching the checkpoint, or when you're about to die and all 5 enemies are alive. So we're about to die, and this is why we use our ultimate here. Unfortunately, the team isn't able to defend with the help of the Ashe ult, so it becomes a checkpoint to defend with a team fight to start things off. Once again, coach gunning the Genji dive, which creates space, and we pick him off. DPS positioning on the high ground on another area of the map, and it makes it harder for enemies to reach you, and you get better shooting angles. As you can see, the Ryan has to walk all the way up the stair to reach us, purposely focusing Genji over Ryan. Genji keeps diving us, and so we keep coach gunning away. Here you want to regroup with the team until it's safe to reposition for a shooting angle. Since the Ryan falls back and the Genji gets picked, we can reposition up top again using the 2-shot and 1 ADS pattern. ADS means aiming down sights, and since the Ryan shield drops and is at medium range, we ADS shoot only. Also, the reason we're shooting Ryan here and not the enemy backline is the enemy backline are not in a good position for us to shoot them, and we also got Ryan to half HP with his shield onto cooldown. Now after the Ryan dies, we have a good vantage point to do damage in this position, so we stay here. As you can see, support focus first. Unfortunately, we see the Mercy too late and she gets a revive off, falling back here to reposition and pinging the Ryan. So once again, DPS positioning is very important and probably the most important skill for a DPS to have along with your aim. Again, standard DPS things, focusing their damage first as no support in sight on our current angle. Then Ryan focus as he's overextended and has become low HP. And now pushing up since 2 are dead. And again, this is a perfect time for a DPS to push up. After that, it's pretty much using all these tips in different situations and scenarios. As you can see, we have currently been doing this. Here, there's no other angle on this area of the map that allows us to get an angle on the backline. If we push up onto the stairs, we'll be too overextended into the enemy team. So we full focus the Ryan, and after that, it's a cleanup with support focus first. Or if the enemy DPSs are super low, you focus them. Or if the enemy is in an open area, you'd focus them. And that is how you play defend on Rialto. We had a good chance to secure the defend at checkpoint 1. For attack, we played Hanzo. And we play this area in checkpoint 1. Again, support or DPS focus first, pinging enemies that are flanking. Here the soldier DPS should have instantly repositioned to his team, but he does not, so we're able to pick him off. And this is why repositioning is so important. Once again, looking to do as much damage as possible while using the payload for cover and while using our brig support for cover. Repositioning back again when too close to their tank, taking high ground, which again makes it hard for the enemies to reach us while getting a better shot angle. Now the reason we're out in the open like this is no one is focusing us. So in a situation like this, you can just rain down arrows onto the enemy. Here the Mercy's dead and the tank is dead, so we can push up. We're challenging the enemy while using cover and we managed to take point. Here we're using the bridge railing for cover. So like I said, we're using cover but just in different areas of the map. And so all these tips that have been mentioned, you want to be using in the current area of the map you are in. So using the bridge railing for cover, and we're able to push back the enemies for an easy payload push past this bridge. For this part of the push, we play this area of the map as on Hanzo. You will be able to use your wall climb a lot in this area and get to the high ground easily. Here we're focusing the DPS as no support is in range. Radar arrow gets us early vision on the Life Weaver for the pick. Finish off the Mercy, and that's 3 dead. This is why we decide to full dive the tank, as their tank doesn't have any support. This team ace allowed us to push to checkpoint 2. Hopefully this guide helped. Leave a like and comment if it did, and see you in the next one.